What if life gave you one more day, not to relive your happiest moments, but to change one mistake that still haunts you? Chuka Nwosu was a man out of time until death paused the clock and gave him 24 hours to make one choice right. But what he discovered was never about the past. It was about the present. This is the man who borrowed time. Chuka Nwosu lay still, his breath shallow, his once strong frame now frail beneath hospital sheets. Machines beeped like the ticking of a clock, counting down the seconds of a life filled with unspoken apologies and haunting regrets. His eyes, dimmed by years, stared into nothing, yet saw everything. He whispered a name, Amaka. His final breath rose, and time stopped. Silence fell. The room shifted. A cold breeze stirred the curtains, though no window was open. Then came a voice, deep, ancient, echoing like thunder in a cave. Chuka, do you wish to rewrite what you destroyed? Before him stood an old man, draped in white, eyes glowing like fire and rain. A dibia, a keeper of sacred time. You have borrowed time, 24 hours to return and change one choice. Only one. Chuka's heart pounded. Was this death or mercy? He closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was no longer dying. He was waking up in the past. Time didn't rewind, it revealed. And before Chuka could choose, he had to face every ghost he left behind. Chuka found himself in a strange timeless space. No walls, no floor, just endless mist. It was both vast and suffocating. In front of him floated images of his past, memories like photographs, suspended in air. He reached out to touch them. First, the face of Emeka, younger, radiant, smiling at him from a memory of better days. He could feel the sting of that love lost. Then, his old business, bustling with life, now reduced to ashes. Regret gnawed at his soul. A loud argument echoed through his mind. The moment he walked out on his pregnant wife, leaving her vulnerable and broken. His heart sank as he relieved the pain he caused. But the space wasn't finished with him. More choices materialized. More regrets. A day of failure, betrayal, and sorrow. Finally, he saw it. The moment that shattered everything. The day he walked away from Amaka, he knew that was the day he would change. And just as the weight of his regrets threatened to consume him, he opened his eyes. Chuka jolted upright, heart racing. Gone were the hospital walls, the machines, the silence of death. In the place, an old ceiling fan spinning lazily, sunlight pouring through louvered windows, the scent of yam porridge drifting in from the kitchen. He looked down. His hands were steady, younger, his legs strong again. He touched his face, disbelieving. This was his body. But 20 years ago, the room was exactly how he remembered it. The worn-out chair Amaka always scolded him for refusing to throw out. The family photo, still crooked on the wall. Tears welled in his eyes. The dibia was right. He had returned. Just 24 hours before it all fell apart. He could hear Amaka humming in the kitchen, pregnant, radiant, unaware of the storm to come. Chuka clenched his fists. This time, I'll do it right. No more pride, no more running. A second chance was a sacred thing, and he wouldn't waste it. But second chances aren't just about going back. They're about facing the same fire with a wiser heart. Chuka woke up armed with the power of hindsight. He thought, this time, I'll say the perfect words. I'll avoid every mistake. He rehearsed his lines like an actor before a final performance. Every glance, every smile, every apology, timed to perfection. But life didn't follow his script. Amaka was still angry. Her eyes still carried the same storm. The pain in her voice hadn't changed, not even with his smoother tone. Chuka tried harder. He explained more, reasoned more, softened his voice. But she interrupted him, accused him, walked away mid-sentence. His pride stirred. The old ego returned, like a ghost from the shadows. "Why is she still angry?" he muttered. "Can't she see I'm trying?" For a moment, he forgot why he came back. He wanted control, not connection. And just like before, he was about to walk out. The temptation to rewrite the past wasn't as noble as he imagined. It was complicated. But as Chuka faced the reality of his second chance, he realized that no matter how hard he tried to rewrite the past, it wasn't the words or actions that needed perfecting. It was him. Chuka had promised himself he would do better. He had rehearsed every word, every gesture. But when the moment came, when Amaka's voice cracked with hurt and old wounds reopened, his pride rose like a storm. "You always think you're right," she cried, eyes full of fire and pain. And instead of listening, he snapped. "Maybe if you respected me, we wouldn't be here," he barked, his voice louder than he intended. The silence that followed wasn't peace, it was distance. Again, he grabbed his keys and stormed out, just like the first time. Outside, the sun burned hotter than before. Sweat dripped down his face, but it wasn't the heat. It was fear. Time was ticking. His second chance, was it slipping through his fingers? He leaned against the wall, breath shaky, heart pounding. For the first time since returning, he felt it. Panic. What if this gift wasn't to fix the past, but to test if he had truly changed? As the storm raged, Chuka realized the gift of time wasn't to rewrite the past. It was to confront the truth within himself. Rain poured from the heavens like a cleansing flood, drenching the dusty streets of Chuka's old neighborhood. He wandered aimlessly, soaked and broken, his second chance slipping through his fingers like wet sand. He had failed. Again, snapped at Amaka, walked out in pride. Nothing had changed. Then, through the curtain of rain, he saw him, a barefoot street preacher, under a crooked umbrella, his voice cutting through the storm. "You can borrow time, but not character. Time doesn't change you. Truth does." The words struck like thunder in Chuka's chest. He froze. "You want to fix the past, but have you fixed your heart?" Chuka fell to his knees, tears mixing with the rain. In that moment, pride melted. The weight he carried wasn't time, it was self-deception. This journey wasn't about changing history, but changing himself. As lightning flashed above, Chuka whispered, "I see now." And with that, he rose, a man reborn in the middle of the storm. And when the storm passed, Chuka rose, not just to his feet, but into a new purpose. It was no longer about proving anything. It was time to return and make it right. Chuka ran through the dusty footpath, heart pounding, not from fear, but urgency. The village shimmered under the golden sun as he reached the compound, his chest heaving, sweat trickling down his brow. Amaka stood at the doorway, arms folded, eyes sharp. She expected another round of pride, another wall of words, but Chuka didn't speak right away. He dropped to his knees. "I was wrong, Amaka," he said, voice trembling. "All these years, I thought being right mattered more than being present. I failed you. I failed us." For a moment, silence. Then, her eyes softened. She stepped closer, and suddenly, a gentle kick stirred beneath her wrapper. Chuka's eyes widened. He reached out, touched her belly, and felt the life he almost never knew. No angry words, no defenses, just breath and peace. For the first time, Chuka didn't need to control the moment. He just needed to be in it. And in that stillness, he truly returned home. But time, even when borrowed, must return home. And as the sun began to set, so did Chuka's final hour. The sky turned orange as the last hour ticked away. Chuka sat quietly, watching Amaka laugh in the courtyard. The sound, like music, to his soul. For the first time in years, his heart felt light. But the weight of time returned. The breeze shifted. The air thickened. The dibia appeared once more, his white robe flowing like mist, eyes burning with knowing. "It's time," he said. Chuka dropped to his knees. "Please, just a little longer. I've only just begun to live again." The dibia's voice was gentle, yet firm. "You didn't borrow time to change your past. You borrowed it to understand your present." Chuka's eyes welled with tears. He looked around one last time. Amaka, the laughter, the light. Then, the callers began to fade. The sounds fell silent. The world dissolved like mist at dawn. And Chuka let go, not with fear, but with peace. Because now, he understood. But just as he released the past, the present called him back. Chuka gasped. His eyes flew open to the blinding white light of a hospital room. Machines humming, the scent of antiseptic heavy in the air. He blinked, disoriented. Was he dreaming? Was he still in the past? Then, a voice broke through. "You're awake." A nurse leaned over him, smiling gently. "You were gone for 3 minutes, clinically dead. But somehow, you came back." Tears welled in his eyes. Beside the bed sat Amaka, older now, her face marked by time, but her eyes still fierce with love. And next to her, a young woman, their daughter, grown, radiant, trembling with emotion. "Daddy," she whispered. Chuka reached out, weakly, as if to confirm they were real. They clasped his hands, tears falling freely. This wasn't a dream. It wasn't the past. It was life, given back to him. A second chance, a new beginning. And this time, he would not waste it. Chuka realized it wasn't just about going back. It was about moving forward. Fully alive, Chuka Nwosu was no longer the man bound by regret. Since awakening from the edge of death, something inside him had shifted, quietly but permanently. He laughed more freely now, not out of habit, but from the heart. He sat longer with Amaka on the veranda, holding her hand like it was the first time. He listened to Ngozi's stories, even the small ones, knowing every moment mattered. He no longer chased what was lost, but cherished what remained. Chuka had learned that time was never the enemy. The real danger was waiting for time to grant what the heart refused to give: presence, truth, forgiveness. He spoke honestly. He showed love in action. And for the first time in decades, peace followed him like a shadow. The past could not be rewritten, but each sunrise brought something better than a second chance. It brought today. And this time, Chuka didn't waste a single breath of it. Chuka didn't change the world. He didn't undo every mistake, but he changed himself. If this story touched something in you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Tales of Truth for more stories that heal, inspire, and awaken the soul. And tell us in the comments, what would you do if you had 24 hours to change one decision? We'd love to hear your truth. Bye.